I mean, artists are people who can think rather than people who can paint. Begin to see how you can play with a certain morality with the thing. Mm-hmm. From my point of view as a painter, that's very interesting to think that some shapes can have this moral... Because I suppose one's doing it anyway instinctively all the time, but to see it laid out like that is quite extraordinary. I always wanted to be a sculptor, and I've invented a sculptor called Brizzoli, who's down there on the raft in Sydney Harbour. What the machine offers you is the possibility of composing. Just a bit smaller still, and we're almost there. But that's basically what you might call a nihilistic statement. We're trying to separate that drawing from the sculptor. We're going to leave him alone. We're trying to turn this thing that he's created into an object as different as possible from himself. We can put another eye onto that. Skull's teeth. Yeah, you can have a beard, you know. Because it's kind of Pygmalion situation. The guy is making a statue which is taking him over, yeah. The black, that's stunning because that's harmonious between him and it. And yeah, well, that's it.
This paint box kind of resembles what I do all the time, but it's far enough away to give me a kind of zestful feeling, a kind of a thrill.
It's kind of addictive, like a game or something, where you can just keep doodling and doodling over and over again. It's playing, which is very, very nice to do and very relaxing. And it's fun to see what the machine can do, and it's quite astonishing. I mean, to draw those nice circles would take me ages. Now, this is enormous fun to do.
I don't at all understand how the machine works, but it's filled me with ideas which I probably would have taken months and months to even get near. It's the pressure of having to work so fast, to think so quickly, and to think so radically in some ways is clearly very useful.
The ease with which this part of the image making is done is incredible for an artist. To be able to duplicate something and move it over and cut it out and tidy it up is done with such speed and accuracy that I begin to feel I must have one in my studio to do the kinds of things that I now spend a great deal of time doing with normal photographic means.
I've no doubt that it is a new medium. I think it does open up a lot of possibilities.
The immediacy of getting that kind of density in color can't be denied. It's really fantastic.
Here one can see particularly well the extraordinary luminosity of the color, which I can't think of any way of achieving.
The only equivalent where you'd get colors like this, it did occur to me, is in stained glass itself, which is using also light and glass. And you can get a richness of color, of course, that even paint can't give. It has a kind of glow. You see, I suppose if you turned up the color on your ordinary TV set now, it would glow even more, wouldn't it?
I can rarely get something that goes down with that ease. There's always some resistance, or I'm running out of paint and I'm having to go back to the easel.
It's only doing this that one realizes, well, a lot of time is spent washing out the brush, mixing the color, applying it to the paper.
Normally, if you're putting on a great big wash, you've got a great big brush to do it with, so the hand holds it differently. One problem here is no matter what kind of mark you're making, you're still gripping this same little ballpoint pen. Well, you know, no artist is quite used to that.
The fact that I can change abstractly to something that looks like chalk, to something that looks like paint, to something that looks like pen, yet I don't feel any difference when I'm marking. It's always the same feeling of a ball bearing gliding over a surface that offers no resistance.
Using this process makes almost too easy is the speed with which you can change from one idea to another and obliterate something and then bring it back.
One thing you can do on this that you can't do with paint is, of course, you can put a very brilliant colour, very brilliant blue, and you could draw on it with a brilliant red. Well, of course, in paint, if you put the red on top of the blue, you're going to get, even if you use thick red on thin blue, and even if it's dry, you're going to make the red slightly into purple, because in a sense when you put the white there, it's taking off the red underneath it.
Cut and paste is something that you're very familiar with in the word processing language and terminology. To be able to take out a sentence and put it somewhere else is something that is being done every minute of the day in offices. It's rather more remarkable when you see the cut and paste facility being applied to a visual problem. I keep calling it the new painting, but what we're dealing with is just an image on a television screen at the moment.
There were never any real drawings, though they have the appearance of being real drawings.
I'm actually drawing on just a blank board, and it leaves no marks behind. It doesn't exist. Nothing there.
Some of the effects are so easy to get, and they have nothing to do with the real world. They're not like a piece of paper you hold in your hand or can hang on the wall. They have no physical life other than when they're being projected.
Possibly this machine could create an entire large group of schizophrenics who didn't know where they ended in the material world.
Being confronted with it for the first time, you begin to worry about the philosophic implications of it and what is it. Obviously, it's called a paint box. It's an extension of the artist's range of media. And it may well be that this is the beginning, the first rumblings of the electronic impact upon the artist.